Those are fun.
Another kind of tech question, like how do you, I don't have any rev shares currently, it's something I'd like to expand into, but I don't know exactly how to make sure that they're being calculated accurately or how to have that conversation.
Yeah, it can definitely be hard. So the first thing is force yourself to figure it out by closing a rev share. So if I pitch a client on 5K a month and 5K a month plus 5%, there's very little difference in their eyes because what is 5%? Like a lot of the people are not gonna pull out a calculator and figure it out, and they don't even know exactly how much they're making every month. So even if you say 5% and for some reason it's just too complicated to figure out, you're still making the same amount that you are now, like worst case scenario. So just ask for the few extra percent. And once you have that deal, then it's time to figure it out. Because like that's not like a skill problem. It's just like I would never encourage somebody to close a client and promise a whole bunch of stuff if they don't have the skill. But in this case, you're still giving them good skill because I know you're good. And if you just don't have the rev share piece figured out yet, like that's your first opportunity to figure it out. So what we do is mainly just UTM parameters and figuring out like which sales came from email. And in general in my head too, I know that like my Facebook ads, we just started those again, are tagged as Facebook. So any sales that come in with that, I'm gonna say Facebook. When we start YouTube again, they're going to say YouTube, and when they're email, they're going to say email. You just have to do a really good job of making sure that the tags get put everywhere. Now, there's some clients that UTM parameters are going to be a little too noobish for, just because their systems are so complicated. In that case, you'll probably have to use Hyros or Segmetrics or Wicked reports. I am not a pro at setting those up. Another reason why I incentivize my team to get half the bonuses we get is because they're the ones setting up the tracking. Yeah, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch the video about UTM parameters. But I just kind of talked about what they are more or less for people that don't know. I didn't like give a master class or anything. But yeah. And the rev share is cool. It's like, I would only do a straight up rev share if I really trust the person. So like people I meet at masterminds or people I know are super legit. It's not just a trust thing, it's like cash flow too, right? Like I just love cash flow. And I want to get paid more today. But I still want to ask for that rev share because again, people are only concerned about how much they're paying today and they're not really thinking as much about the future. So if you ask for it, you're probably going to get it.
How are you tracking for rev share if it's closed on the phone? Are you tracking back to the paid invoice?
That's when you have to work with the sales team and just coordinate to make sure they mark it down as you. Or they look at the parameter and they see it says email and they mark it down. But you really have to like be on top of them because like they don't get any bonuses from marking down that it's your sale. But you can also see the booking, right? So like the booking should be in some kind of sheet or something, and it has attribution to you on it. And then obviously you can just look at the sales sheet and see if the person closed. Yeah. And there's a lot of people too that'll like ask, what if we just take a percentage? So like don't do rev shares with people that have really low margins or if they're not making a lot every month. That's just kind of setting yourself up for failure. You can always downsell people, right? So if you want to charge like 4K a month and they're like really against it, just say, okay, let's do 2K for 2 weeks. Now they're literally paying more technically because 4 weeks is 28 days, a month is 30 or 31 usually. So they're technically paying a little bit more, but they're more comfortable because they're only putting down 2K today. You could even do a week trial, but then you gotta get up and going fast. So that should like motivate you too. And then if they wanna move off of that, just be like, hey, if you wanna pay upfront for the next month, you'll actually save a little bit because there's only 28 days in 4 weeks and there's 30 or 31 in a month. So you'll save a little bit by paying up front. And by that time, they should trust you if you're doing good. So that's another good way to get people on board. And you can add the rev share on there too.